What's up, everybody? How are we doing this Tuesday? How's everybody doing? Welcome to the live stream. Yes, that's right. I technically am on time this Tuesday. So thank you. Hold your applause. I'm actually on time for my own streams tonight. So I'm gonna wait just a little bit, but basically what we're going to be talking about tonight in the live stream is a couple of things, current events wise, and tying it back to things that I've been talking about for quite some time, and announcing a video that I'm going to be making, kind of detailing all of this for people, because I feel like people aren't paying attention, which is why the title of the live stream tonight is, Are You Paying Attention? Because I feel like even those of us who feel like we're paying attention, we feel like we know what's going on. There might be some things going on that I think a lot of people just aren't aware of, things that have been setting precedents for a really long time that connect to a lot of things that are going on. So we're going to talk about that, and we're also going to talk about the Facebook whistleblower. That should be fun. And things like that. So hopefully you guys are all having a great Tuesday. Hey Landfish, what's up? Libertarian05. Hey, haven't seen you in a hot minute. Osmo, what's up? Good evening. Neil, who done it? Zoidberg, what's up, everyone? Hey, what's up, everybody? So, I see we have a decent amount of viewers now. So, I'm going to get into this. For those of you who are new to this live stream or tuning in for the first time in a while, please keep in mind that I do actually keep my live streams up. All of my former live streams, for the most part, are up on my channel still. So, if you pop in now, you pop in later, you're watching this back, obviously, there's a catalog pretty much of all of my older live streams on the YouTubes. So my YouTube channel is Mac and Liberty. You guys know that. I am actually going to start moving my catalog over to Odyssey. So that's in the processes. It's taking a hot minute. I have a decent amount of pretty long videos, but hopefully within the next week or so, my entire catalog will be up on Odyssey. So I'll make a video announcing that, so you guys know that you can check me out on Odyssey too. I'm not going to start putting any exclusive content over on Odyssey, but I am going to start backing up my videos there. Who knows? Who knows what could happen? So, other announcements to get through. If you guys are tuning in, I stream Tuesday evenings now. Obviously, you're here, starting at 7 p.m. Central Time, and then I am streaming twice a week now over on twitch.tv. You can search for Kenzie Puff, and I stream video games over there Wednesdays and Fridays, same time, 7 p.m. Central Time. Friday nights are cosplay streams, so if you guys are familiar with my costuming, I cosplay every Friday night now over on Twitch. That's a new thing I've just started. You guys can follow me over there as well, and don't forget to join my Telegram channel. The link to my Telegram channel is in the description down below. I know a lot of you guys are familiar faces. You guys are here all the time, every week. But if you haven't joined that Telegram channel, please do. I pin the very next time I'm streaming to the top of my Telegram channel. It's public. You can just search it up on the Telegram app. Telegram is just an encrypted messaging app, you guys know, so you can just search Telegram Mac and Liberty. Actually, if you just Google Telegram Mac and Liberty, it pops right up and you can join. It's available on desktop too, I believe, so that's the best place you can get a hold of me. I don't have a Discord channel. All I've got is a Telegram and then my socials. So that's the best way to keep in touch with me. So, enough announcements. I thought the I will not live in a pod and I will not eat bug shirt was very on point today. So you guys will find out why in a second. So the first thing I want to talk about, and then maybe we'll tie it back to other things. The first thing I want to talk about, I often don't catch current events. So I don't really do current events a lot on here, aside from things that are really big that have been happening. And as most of you probably know, the biggest thing that's been happening is this Facebook whistleblower. Now, at first, I was kind of out of touch with this. I'm like, I didn't really know what was going on. So I've got an article here pulled up. I'll read you some my favorite quotes from the Facebook whistleblower herself. And we'll kind of have a good laugh, as weird as that sounds. Because when I say whistleblower, I mean, usually You think they're going to be dropping bombshells. At least that's my first thought when it comes out that there's a whistleblower about a company or something like that. You know, like Project Veritas style videos, things like that. That's not really what happened here. And I'm going to laugh at it, not because it's funny, but because you just have to laugh or you'll cry sometimes, okay? We have to laugh at the absurdity of this all, or we will actually go crazy. So, my favorite quote, so for those of you who don't know, I mean, most of you probably know, but Frances Haugen, 37-year-old former Facebook product manager. Fun fact, this woman also worked for several other tech companies, including Google. So this is not the first tech company she had worked with. Just something to keep in mind. So she's been around the tech block there. She did a committee today about Facebook. And one of her biggest things that she talked about, she actually has a website. One of her big concerns, I want to get this out of the way. I know it's all doom and gloom when it comes to the whistleblower, but she was talking about her concerns about social media and young girls, and I just want to get out of the way. I don't necessarily disagree. I don't know how you could with all the evidence that's out there that social media affects young minds in general in not so good of a way. There have been numerous studies done, especially on how much it affects young girls' self-esteem and things like that. So I don't want to poke fun at that stuff. That's actually a legitimate concern in my opinion. Of course, my solution to that is just parent your children, but you know, that's a really tough thing to do these days apparently. So you can't always count on that. Second Street Marvel, what's up? What's up? Thanks for popping by. So, this is my personal favorite quote from Ms. Haugen. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right. I don't really care, to be honest with you. So, this is my favorite quote so far that I've seen from her. She said, "I'm here today because I believe that Facebook's products harm children, stoke division, and weaken our democracy. The company's leadership knows how to make Facebook and Instagram safer, but won't make the necessary changes because they have put their astronomical profits before people. Congressional action is needed. They won't solve this crisis without your help." So, obviously, with my recent coming out video on my channel, you guys know that basically I'm completely okay with being referred to as a Hoppian now. So the fact that the Facebook whistleblower who's been, like I said, I hear whistleblower, I hear, oh, what's going to happen? Like she's going to drop some bombshells. For her to sit down and praise democracy was an immediate red flag for me. Quite literally, red flag. Because anytime anybody has brought up democracy, we've seen democracy dies in darkness from journos. We've seen Facebook talk about the sacredness of democracy. Hillary Clinton just came out and released some quote. Yeah, apparently she's still doing things, thinking she's important. We've seen her come out and said something about democracy. And I'm here today because I believe that Facebook's products harm children, stoke division, and weaken our democracy. Now, harm children, no thank you. Stoke division, I don't have a problem with. And weaken our democracy is literally ideal. So the fact that this whistleblower who is going to expose Facebook, who, by the way, Facebook has, especially with the last two elections, done nothing but talk about as a company how important democracy is, for a Facebook whistleblower to then say, Facebook is weakening our democracy, is absolutely hilarious. If Facebook is weakening our democracy based, like, am I supposed to be concerned? It's so funny. I mean, I could make a whole video on how absurd it is that these people are all worried about the weakening of democracy when we know that's just a farce. They don't actually care about that. They want to centralize control. That's what this is all about. Which brings me to the hilarious conclusion of the Facebook whistleblower's testimony, I guess we'll call it. She essentially called for more censorship on social media. Now, there is a saying that says never attribute to malice what can be explained by ignorance. I don't subscribe to that phrase. In fact, I subscribe to the opposite. I think, especially in the world that we live in today, in order to protect yourself and your family and actually keep an eye on things and what's actually probably going on, the best policy is don't attribute to ignorance what could very well be malice. We don't have the luxury anymore, perhaps we never did, there's definitely an argument for that, of assuming that these people are ignorant and they have the best interest at heart. It's not being nihilistic. That's not my purpose here. It's not to be all doom and gloom. You guys know I try to end every live stream with a white pill. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. I'm just being realistic, and I think there's a big difference. I think it's time, especially after the past 18 months and things that have been going on, it's time to stop looking at people like this, or looking at people like Jack, the CEO of Twitter, or looking at people like Mark Zuckerberg and saying, well, they probably mean well, they just didn't know what they were doing. They're just idealistic, whatever. I don't care. Like, it doesn't mean anything to me. I'm going to continue to treat these situations as if these people are malicious. Because when we don't do that, we get what we are now going through as a country in the United States. What people are going through worldwide. That's what you get when you assume that these people are just being ignorant or idealistic and they don't really know what they're doing. That's what we get. We get 18 months of bullshit and centralized control and people that hate you telling you that they're going to continue to do what they're doing and there's nothing you can do about it. And I'm tired of that. And a Facebook whistleblower praising democracy is just par for the course. I thought this story was so funny. Like I said, it's disgusting, but you kind of just have to laugh because of course. What else would be her priority, right? I mean, I know I said she cares about harming children. Also, the fact that anybody at Facebook or really on any social media platform could actually sit there and tell you that they care about harming children is actually hilarious to me. You and I chat, we both know how much these people actually give a damn about children, and it is less than zero. They are way far in the negative. They don't give a shit. They'll say they do, because yet again, it's for the children. What do we know when they say it's for the children? What do we know what's coming when they say, but it's for the children? It's nothing good. I can promise you that. Can promise you that. So, as you guys know, Facebook, this is going to transition into the next topic now, and then I'll go back and read the chat. But I really want to get to this tonight. Because I posted a thread about this, but I'm not sure if all of you follow me. So I'm going to talk about it on the stream because I think it's important, and I think I'm not saying it connects to what happened, but it's a very interesting. I'll just talk about it and you'll see what I mean. So, those of you who don't know, I have been pretty passionate about talking about the World Economic Forum and the implications of an organization and how essentially everything the World Economic Forum has proposed and has set as a goal has come about. It's probably the best example we have of globalism between a bunch of corporations, between a bunch of governments, corporations in bed with the government, and everything that they've set out to do has happened. Everything that they've warned about has happened. So take that with a grain of salt, of course, and please do your own research. I am planning, if you're watching this back here in the chat right now, I am planning on doing an extensive video on the history of the World Economic Forum because I think people are highly underestimating how important and influential it is as an entity. We'll just refer to it as that. And it's actually crazy. So this relates to Facebook and the World Economic Forum, I think. So we all know that social media went down for about 5 hours. I think it was Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook went down for a total of 5 or 6 hours. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't really use Facebook or Instagram a ton. So I mean, it was obvious it was down. I went to check it and it wasn't working. I said, oh, it must be down. So I heard Twitter at some point wasn't even loading because Twitter was being flooded with users because nobody could get on their Facebook or Instagram for their dopamine fix. So they all went over to Twitter. Well, the World Economic Forum, hosts a cybersecurity event every year that combines the world's largest technical training for a bunch of corporate teams into an online conference, and it features senior officials from international organizations and leading corporations. It's basically a training event for corporations, global businesses and government structures. That's the key here. And then the live stream, like millions of people watch, and you can actually watch it. There's actually a link on the cyberpolygon.com. You can go check it out yourself. I encourage you to look to this website because I came across this after researching the Facebook outage, and it's kind of insane. So the point of this is to develop skills for government employees, corporation employees, cybersecurity skills, to know how to defend against cyber attacks that are all the rage, what techniques people are using, and things like that. And raise public awareness of cybersecurity. Basically, the entire point is to engage management level people at international organizations and corporations, along with government people and officials, and get a dialogue going about cybersecurity, and they test things. Okay, so that's the basic just background. So now I want to talk to you. This is a yearly event. The concept for 2021 for Cyber Polygon, I'm going to read it to you. I'm reading this directly from the website, like I said, cyberpolygon.com if you're watching this video back, or you can write that down and go check it out for yourself later. I highly encourage you to do so. Concept 2021. As the global digitalization is further accelerating, the world is becoming ever more interconnected. Digital ecosystems are being created all around us. Countries, corporations, and individuals are taking advantage of the rapid spread of internet and smart devices. In this context, a single vulnerable link is enough to bring down the entire system, just like the domino effect. A secure approach to digital development today will determine the future of humanity for decades to come. Cyber Polygon 2021 will enable the spectators and participants to improve on their cyber literacy, enhance the resilience of their organizations, and learn to repel cyber threats on all levels. So basically the goal is the same every year. But what I found interesting is the conclusions of Cyber Polygon. The conclusions were that for 2020, going back, the conclusion was that there may potentially be 2020 to 2021 a digital pandemic across the globe. The exact words are, a single data breach across the ocean could trigger a chain reaction and spark a digital pandemic across the globe. The central theme for the live stream in 2020 for Cyber Polygon was the prevention of this digital pandemic. And the training developed an attack scenario where in real life it jeopardized the company reputation and data. The teams practiced containing this type of attack in real time and subsequently investigated the incident. I think it's very interesting that the World Economic Forum warned in 2020, in between their 2020 and 21 Cyber Polygon event, the World Economic Forum warned via this event that a digital pandemic could be devastating globally. And it would only take one thing, perhaps, to make this go down. Like, you might be saying, well, I mean, there's no guarantee that this is related, right? Because there isn't. It could be a coincidence. I will give you that. But with everything we've seen so far of the World Economic Forum, everything they're pushing, everything they said was going to happen, I find it very interesting that this happened in 2020. The 2021 thing happened in July 9th. But the 2020 Cyber Polygon was warning about a digital pandemic, just like the World Economic Forum has been very invested in what has actually been going on for the past 18 months. I find this all very interesting, and there's a lot of coincidences. And I posted about this, and, you know, it is what it is. Draw your own conclusions. I just thought I would bring that up on this stream since we're talking about the Facebook whistleblower and what happened with Facebook. I think it's very convenient, but, you know, maybe it was just one stupid employee. There were rumors that Facebook employees couldn't even swipe their badges to get into the building. So it could have just been a dumb employee or just a complete oversight. I mean, we all know those companies that they don't update their equipment. They don't really prepare for something until it happens. But I find it very hard to believe that some place like Facebook would not have precautions put in place. I find it very, very convenient that this whistleblower stuff comes out. Facebook goes down. In conclusion, with all the World Economic Forum things going on, all of a sudden, the Facebook whistleblower is worried about democracy and is calling for Facebook and sites worldwide, essentially, to start censoring even more, as if they don't do that already. I mean, don't get me wrong, it could get much worse, right? There's no doubt about that. But the insinuation that Facebook isn't... Now, maybe she does have an argument, I will say. The Facebook whistleblower does have an argument when it comes to protecting children. But as far as protecting democracy, I find it completely laughable that that's the talking point. Now, if you're saying, oh, Facebook should stay out of elections and things like that, we can talk. But the fact that the phrasing continuously is protect democracy, X thing is a threat to our democracy. We've been seeing that so much for the past 18 months. I think it should be clear to everyone more than ever that democracy is bullshit. It's just a farce that they're using to hold you to your ideals. All it is a placeholder word to make you feel really good. Oh, we're a democracy. We have a say in things. That's all it is. So I find that very, very interesting. This live stream is called Are You Paying Attention? Because you should be paying attention. I sent out something that said, if you have not looked into the World Economic Forum before today, I said this the day that Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and all these places went down. If you have not looked into the World Economic Forum before all the social media went down, I highly suggest you do so before you can't look into it anymore. We'll just put it that way. I think I am going to make an in-depth video about the World Economic Forum. There's a lot of information. I do have a really good video on my channel people seem to like about BlackRock that's still up, obviously, on my YouTube channel. It's from a few months ago. I plan to make that same style of video for the World Economic Forum, and there's a lot of information, so it probably is going to be a little bit of a longer video. I think my BlackRock video is like 7 minutes long. It's probably going to be at least double, maybe triple that, but I think it's important, and I want to document it somewhere, and I'm moving all my stuff. I'm not moving, but I am copying all my stuff over to Odyssey. So hopefully, if I make a video about the World Economic Forum, that stuff doesn't go down. I could do a live stream on it, but I find I ramble a lot in my live streams. You guys know this. And so I think it'd be great to have a place you can go for just an in-depth view on the topic. That's what my BlackRock video is supposed to be. That's what this video is going to be. So I'm going to start doing in-depth things on that. I think I'm going to start doing videos about quote-unquote conspiracies, talking about that sort of stuff. You guys seem to like when I do that stuff, so I'm pretty excited about that. So we got the Facebook whistleblower stuff out of the way, the Polygon stuff out of the way. I'm going to go back and read the chat here for a second. So if you guys haven't yet, please make sure you thumbs up this video, this live stream. It helps me a lot as far as my subscribers seeing my algorithm. And to anybody who subscribed, thank you. I see we had a few people subscribe in this live stream. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. Osmo, I feel like a simp watching a female political streamer. I mainly have this on while doing something on a different tab, so it should be fine. I will let you know if you're a simp. Trust me. I know you're kind of new to this community here, but trust me, I'll let you know if you're being a simp. For posterity, yeah, the Facebook whistleblower that just happens to say that Facebook isn't doing enough to censor and control the internet. Yes, very convenient, isn't it? Cass, what's up? Gabriel, what's up? RC Scott, hey, what's up, what's up? Second Street Marvel, I said hi to you. Drew, what's up? Praise your kids. Thank you. RC Scott, Trinity. I saw people made comments about that. Matt said, Facebook whistleblower doesn't matter because the leftists support all this anyway. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. The Facebook whistleblower stuff, I do wonder how much of it is just meant to be a distraction. You know what I mean? I actually posted, I'm like, the Facebook whistleblower didn't say anything that we don't already know. Right? That's why they're not a very good whistleblower. We know that Facebook doesn't really, there's no oversight in these companies. We already know this about the big tech companies. We've known this for years now. So the fact that a whistleblower would come out and be like, hey, there's no oversight. It's a threat to democracy. It's like, yeah, they've been saying this stuff for years. I have not seen anything quote unquote new from this whistleblower. Which is very strange because she said, oh, I'm saying all this at great personal risk. And it's like, well, you're not saying anything that we didn't already know. So that's a little strange. Hola, just trying not to pay attention, just dropping in to say hi. Hey, what's up, Pick up the pants troll. I feel like the government intentionally makes things look fishy sometimes. That way, when nothing happens, it makes you question your sanity and just trust authority. Yeah, I mean, there's probably some truth to that. I don't disagree with that at all. Matt, that's how the game is played, brothers and sisters. Yep. Osmo, if one link is enough to collapse the whole system, then perhaps the system is too weak to exist. Interesting point. Solo law of land still stand. It's just not being enforced to do so. Sorry, we're still a republic. I mean, man, that's kind of a boomer talking point, don't you think? I thought the Coffin guy said it was super easy to port videos to Odyssey. There's like one button. Yeah, you only have to click one button, but like it still takes a while to actually port your videos over. It does all the work for you though. I've already clicked the button, so. For posterity said, Mac, when the average person says or hears conspiracy, what do you think is the operational definition of the term that registers with them? Threat to democracy, threat to go homo. Martin, did I miss it? Kinda. Yeah, I kind of talked about the big topics already. I'm still going to be streaming for 30 more minutes. No. Solo, I don't know how many streams you've seen of mine, but I'm not a doomer. I am not somebody that sits up here like, oh, it's so over. They're going to censor all of us and all that stuff. That's not what I'm about. I'm about, I'm not a doomer pilled person. Don't get me wrong. Hola, that's a plant. There's a male whistleblower from Facebook who leaked paperwork on censorship from Facebook that's really bad. Yeah. I have heard that there's actually a document going around that is very damning. And so the timeline is, the document came out from the male whistleblower that's pretty damning to Facebook. Facebook miraculously goes down. Facebook, Instagram, all the websites go down for 5 hours. And then when the websites come back up, this female whistleblower is testifying in Congress. All these things we already know about Facebook. Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a distraction. I don't disagree with you guys. I had to touch on it. It's right up my alley, so. Alec, first time tuning in. What I miss? Welcome to the stream. I've been talking about the Facebook whistleblower and something called Cyber Polygon event hosted by the World Economic Forum. So if you're just tuning in, after my stream's over in about 20 or so minutes, you might want to go check out those topics. Zoidberg said Mac might not be a doomer, but I am. It's just a question of how much damage you can do to the elites before they before they eat us all. We'll say eat us all. What can you do though? What is the point? Even if you're right, what is the point in sitting here and woe is meing about it? Not saying that's what you're doing, but a lot of people do that. They're like, there's no point, give it up. It's like, no, piss off. Like, that's exactly what they want. They want you to be demoralized. Because when you're demoralized, you do nothing to fight back. You're causing zero resistance against the machine. And that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to cause as much friction as possible before I kick the bucket personally. That's me personally. Arcadian 1022 said, anyone hear about Larry Vickers? I heard that Larry Vickers' entire firearms collection was confiscated. Is that correct? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, it's just bringing morale down. Like, when you sit here and you're like, yeah, for those of you who don't know, I did see on Twitter that, let me see if I can find an article about it. I did hear about that, though. Let me see. I don't know exactly what's going on. I haven't looked into it. But yeah, it was confiscated. 2 days ago, the ATF seized Larry Vickers' entire firearms collection. Allegedly. That's what I'm seeing. It was on a bunch of forums. I know it was on, according to AR15.com, his entire firearms collection was confiscated. Kind of crazy. Kind of insane. I don't know the details on it. Yeah, let's talk about that too, since we're mentioning the ATF confiscating people's things. Let me bring that up. For those of you who don't know, parents who are concerned with their children learning CRT are now categorized as domestic terrorists because allegedly parents have been making threats to teachers. And teachers are our public servants, so we shouldn't be getting angry at them, even when they're propagandizing our children to hate themselves and us. He sent out a memo, or FBI director sent out a memo. The memo says, in recent months, there's been a this is Attorney General Merrick Garland, for those of you who don't know. It reads, it's from October 4th, so yesterday. This is a little bit old news, but if you haven't seen it, it's probably important to talk about. It reads, in recent months, there have been a disturbing spike in harassment, intimidation, and threats of violence against school administrators, board members, teachers, and staff who participate in the vital work of running our nation's public schools. While spirited debate about policy matters is protected under the Constitution, that protection does not extend to threats of violence or efforts to intimidate individuals based on their views. How hilarious is it that the Attorney General and the FBI are telling you that intimidation of individuals based on their views isn't tolerable? Are you fucking kidding me? Really? Really, FBI? Persecuting people for their specific views? That's not tolerable to the FBI? That's weird because 0106 kind of seems like that's exactly what you're doing. You guys arrested grandmas for walking through the Capitol. And you're going to sit up here and tell me that you don't allow or that the Constitution protection does not extend to threats of intimidation of individuals based on their views? Really? Alrighty. Anyway, let's continue. That's just paragraph 1, folks. Threats against public servants are not only illegal, they run counter to our nation's core values. Do they? Do you know how this country was founded, sir? Did they write? I swear to God, they wrote this just to troll people. They wrote this to troll us. Those who dedicate their time and energy to ensuring that our children receive a proper education in a safe environment deserve to be able to do the work without fear for their safety. Well, maybe they should stop teaching children to hate themselves. And maybe they should stop telling white kids that it's their fault that everything bad is going on in the world. Perhaps then people wouldn't be so angry with them. No? Okay. Let's continue. The department takes these incidents seriously and is committed to using its authority and resources to discourage these threats, identify them when they occur, and prosecute them when appropriate. In the coming days, the department will announce a series of measures designed to address the rise in criminal conduct directed towards school personnel. I cannot wait to see this. Now, keep in mind, this Office of the Attorney General memo about this came out yesterday. I will definitely be updating you all when we get the actual guidelines that they're going to put in place to prevent this from happening. It should be very interesting. I don't think it's a coincidence that there's been a rise of homeschooling over the past 18 months, and all of a sudden the FBI and the Attorney General's office seem very, very concerned about these magical threats, none of which we've seen in the news so far. I would not be surprised. I want to knock on wood here. I would not be surprised if there is an incident that is made to look real where a public servant, something happens to them, so that the FBI is justified in going after parents for being concerned about their children's education. And I'm sure it definitely won't just go one way, right? I'm sure they will look into any parent that's threatening or intimidating public school teachers. I'm sure politically they definitely will also prosecute left-wing parents who are criticizing things like critical race theory and things like that, right? Right? I hope so. Let's see. We all know they're not going to do that. We all know what this is. Come on. As my dad says, I was born at night, but not last night, Mr. Garland. Coordination and partnership with local law enforcement is critical to implementing these measures for the benefit of our nation's nearly 14,000 public school districts. To this end, I am directing the Federal Bureau of Investigation, I don't know why I said it like that, working with each United States attorney to convene meetings with federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial leaders in each federal judicial district within 30 days of the issuance of this memorandum. These meetings will facilitate the discussion of strategies for addressing threats against school administrators, board members, teachers, and staff, and will open dedicated lines of communication for threat reporting, assessment, and response. The department is steadfast in its commitment to protect all people in the United States from violence, threats of violence, and other forms of intimidation and harassment. Is it not intimidation and harassment to teach literal children to hate themselves because of the race that they are? Is that not intimidation and harassment? Is being actively anti-white in a school where you're teaching white children not intimidation and harassment? No? Okay. I mean, come on. We know where this administration in general stands on white people. It's not too great. It's not looking too good. I can't wait to see the guidelines that they issue. I didn't look before the stream, but I haven't seen any so far. Like I said, this memo came out October 4th, so we will see. We will see. This is very interesting. That's the only thing I can say. I mean, you have to laugh. You have to laugh at how ridiculous it is and how hypocritical these people are. And don't get me wrong, I know there's no point in pointing out how hypocritical this administration, these people, these federal agents are. It's absolutely disgusting. We know that this is only going to go one way. So my advice to everyone is, in the coming weeks, it's said in this memo that the meetings are going to happen in districts nationwide within 30 days of this memo coming out. The best thing that you can do right now, if you actually care whether you have children or not, is look out for these meetings that are allegedly going to take place and show up and voice your opinion. That's it. Now, I find it very interesting. Essentially, the entire letter is a threat. It's clearly trying to dissuade people from showing up at those meetings. We all know things tend to happen in committees in secret and things like that. The best thing you can do is be informed. I said on my previous live stream, I think it was, the best thing you can do is get involved locally, because this is where it's going to matter, folks. I have a really bad feeling, and I'm not saying this to be blackpilled. Please understand. I'm saying this to be realistic. The fact that this memo exists now, we are going to see, mark my words, a very large push. We've already been seeing anti-homeschooling things come out for years now, even when Trump was president. We're going to see a huge push specifically in the United States to ban homeschooling. They have realized that over the past 18 months, what they have allowed people to do and what we have seen happen is parents, thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of parents across the United States pull their kids out of public institutions and start educating them themselves. That was just because of the past 18 months. Then with the CRT stuff, we're seeing even more parents pull their kids out. Now this comes out saying, please don't intimidate public school officials. We are going to see a push to at least very much restrict homeschooling, perhaps regulate it heavily, to where it would essentially make it like, and I know it depends state by state. For example, in my state, you basically just have to check in. They're not really strict about curriculum or anything like that. Thankfully, here in the Midwest, people aren't as crazy. So I know it varies state to state, so don't get it twisted with that. But we're going to see proposals for regulations, things that need to be taught in every home, perhaps even a ban on homeschooling. And I know the hill worth continuing to stand on, I'll put it that way. I don't want to get this stream taken down. The hill worth standing your ground on, we'll put it that way, has already started over the past 18 months. It is not a surprise to me that something like this is coming out after the past 18 months when people are pulling their kids out, and that is where they will go next. They need control over every aspect of your life. The last place that they have control over, they need control of your children, because that is how you raise people who say things like, we need to protect democracy. We can't let democracy die, because you've spent your entire life in public schools. You're not raising your children. The government is. And when you pull your kids out, the government doesn't like that. This is the hill worth standing on, so to speak. Yes, Alec in the chat. Absolutely. I have been very passionate for a very long time. It has been one of my, even when I was just a little baby Lolbert, when I was just one of those live and let live people, one of the things I was most passionate about, still am to this day, is people having the right to educate their own children. They will tell you, well, you're just going to indoctrinate your children. Yes. And yes, I think left-wing people should also educate their own children. This is not a left-wing, right-wing thing for me. I think it's especially important for right-wingers, obviously because I'm right-wing, but I'm not one of those people that's like, except those people. No, everyone should be taking charge of their children's lives, period. This is the hill we're standing on, so to speak. That's all. For posterity, it's not a joke that these people, it's not a joke that to these people, democracy means global homo and not actually democracy and freedom of association. Now, I'm not gonna, that's not real democracy here. Even if it was real democracy, you wanna argue, well, it's not real democracy, whatever. I'm not gonna argue that. Democracy in any form is a soft variant of communism, and rarely in history has it been taken for any less than that. Hans Hermann Hoppe. Democracy is a soft variant of communism. People who tout democracy, whether it's, freedom of association democracy, well, there is no freedom of association in democracy. 9 out of 10 people in a robbery, we'll put it that way so I don't get banned off of YouTube, voted to be there and think it's fine. So, democracy is stupid. Democracy is a farce. I don't want to be around anybody or live around anybody who thinks democracy is a good, period. Gabriel Emsom, what do you guys think about former liberals such as Karlin Borysenko, who supposedly fights against CRT but is also desperate to denounce people who say it's anti-white? Oh, we're really going to get into that. Karlin blocked me on Twitter for questioning and saying that the Me Too movement could be potentially harmful to men and that is something worth looking into. That tells me all I need to know about her. So I was blocked for over a year on Twitter by her for simply questioning why anyone would support the Me Too movement. And when I brought up that innocent men's lives were being destroyed, essentially the response was, I don't care, and a block. That tells me all I need to know. I'm going to segue. You guys know anti-whiteism disgusts me. Have you seen me? I'm kind of white. And by kinda, I mean like I'm translucent, okay? It'd be very hard for me. If a society erupts that is anti-white, it's going to be kind of hard for me to hide what I am, okay? I'm completely against anti-whiteism. I've been speaking out against it for a long time. I've been allying with a lot of great people, including Giz the Eunuch, who are fantastic on anti-whiteism and calling it out when we see it. If you guys haven't checked out Yiz's channel, please do so. I'll add it to the description down below if you guys are watching this back. That is an example of the interactions I've had with Karlin. So I'm going to segue here. This is a great segue. Thank you for the question, Gabriel. There is a huge problem. There has been for a very, very long time with libertarians who are socially conservative. I know we can argue all day what conservative exactly means. Just take it for what it is for now. There's a huge problem with libertarians who are socially conservative, more right-wing, paleo-libertarian types, perhaps. Maybe they might not call themselves that, but they are. There's a huge problem with those types and actual conservatives who are, God and country types, things like that, boomer cons. There's a huge issue with these types of people being so desperate. Anytime they see a left-wing person become moderate, allegedly become moderate, they welcome them with open arms into their circles. Karlin is one of these people. Great example. Been welcomed in with open arms. There are many examples of this. People who are previously left-wing, they're still left-wing, spoiler alert, welcoming these people into libertarian, conservative circles, right-wing circles in general. We'll just put it that way. That's an easier way to say it. These people are being welcomed with open arms into right-wing circles because they're red-pilled now and they've seen the light and they're our ally now, buddy. Let's go. And then it turns out they're vehemently anti-white. They're not right-wing at all. They still believe heavily in egalitarianism. They think hierarchy is bullshit, which is the biggest distinction between left and right-wing, in my opinion, in many people's opinion. And still, right-wingers are opening their arms to these people and then wondering why their circles, their ideas get subverted and don't get anywhere. This is what happens when you're so desperate, even if you claim like, oh, well, I'm based, but this person is a new convert. We are not in a position. Look at what's been going on over the past 18 months. We are not in a position, we have not been in a position for decades to continue to invite people into right-wing circles who clearly believe nothing what we believe. They might agree with us on one singular issue, and we're welcoming them in. Trump's presidency is a great example. Complete great example. There were quote-unquote left-wing people who became moderate because they saw that other left-wing people criticized Trump and dehumanized Trump supporters. Now, they didn't align with any right-wing principles other than they just think Trump supporters maybe shouldn't be treated so badly. That was it. And a lot of MAGA people, a lot of Make America Great Again Trump supporters welcomed these left-wing people in with open arms and said, they're base now. Look, drag queens for Trump. Gay people for Trump, all these things, all these openly left-wing people, feminists for Trump, whatever. There was all these organizations. I'm just using Trump as an example because I think it's a good recent one. They were welcomed in with open arms. And then look, slowly over time, not even really slowly to be honest, it's like it fell off a cliff. Same thing happens every single time. These people convince you, I'm on your side because of one singular issue. I mean, how stupid are you? If you don't agree with me on core principles, I don't want anything to do with you. If you are someone like me who believes that secession is the way, that people should not be forced to integrate together, that fundamentally disagree on things, there is no reason to be opening your right-wing circles up to these people, period. Zero reason whatsoever. And here's how you can tell whether those people perhaps are genuine, they never are, spoiler alert, or they're trying to subvert you, whether consciously or not. When you say to them, I don't want to associate with you, they go apeshit. Every fucking time. I, at one point on Twitter 2 years ago, made a tweet saying, I don't want to associate with femboys. It was a choice of mine. I don't want them following me. I don't agree with that lifestyle. I think it's cringy as fuck. And I dress up in anime cosplays and I think it's cringy. So it's probably cringy. I just don't want to associate with them. And I had someone go insane on me and tell me I'm limiting my audience and I shouldn't be doing that. And I should be welcoming these people in. And they're secretly based and red-pilled. And I told that person to piss off. Because one, you're not going to tell me what to do with my audience. Two, I know what subversion looks like when I fucking see it. Because I've been seeing it happening in the hobbies that I'm involved in for at least 6 years now. And I know people who've been watching it happen to the hobbies that they're in, cosplay for example, for literal decades. Comics, another great example. All of these cultural things that we once loved, that never had to be political. If something is not explicitly right-wing, it will inevitably become left-wing. Simple as. This happens every single time. You have literal porn stars being welcomed in to conservative Inc. events. I mean, what? Why are we pretending? Why are we pretending like any of this is okay? Wake up. Wake up, please. Just because someone agrees with you on one thing, it doesn't mean you can't have a good conversation maybe on those one things. It doesn't mean anything like that. But I'm at the point where I don't want to have conversations with those people personally. I'm not advocating that's what you all do, but personally, I don't want to associate with those kinds of people because I want to stay right-wing. I want my circles to stay right-wing. I want to enjoy the things that I enjoy without subversion. And we can't do that if every time someone that agrees with us on absolutely nothing comes out and says, for example, just saw a tweet, progressives against abortion. Great example. What? There were right-wingers responding to the Progressives Against Abortion video being like, this is so great, we should ally with them on this. What? Explicitly on the website of this Progressives Against Abortion group, they explicitly said that their goal was to create entryism for left-wing people into anti-abortion circles because they're against it too. Now, what are their other missions aside from being against abortion? Equality, diversity, democracy, all the bullshit we just talked about for a literal hour that's not good, that is cancerous. And right-wingers are saying, well, yeah, we should ally with them because they're against abortion. You are inviting yourselves to be subverted, and I can no longer feel sorry for you when it happens. Though, as I talked about earlier on my stream, I'm starting to think that things like Conservative Inc. are literally made to be controlled opposition. They are made to be very moderate, to cede the ground to left-wing people, and then when it happens, go, oh no, it happened again. And here's the other thing. I want to say this before I end my stream. I want to end with this. I don't think it's hopeless. I think the only way through this is to stop every time something gets subverted. Libertarianism, by and large, has been subverted. I don't care. I am right-wing. I am libertarian. I am Hoppian. I am an anarcho-capitalist. And I am not going anywhere. You are trying to subvert what I believe. Trying to say egalitarianism is good. Trying to say hierarchy is always bad. Trying to say authority is always bad. Even just natural authority, like of the family and society, is bad and we don't really need it. You are wrong. I am not allowing myself to be subverted anymore. I have watched every single fucking hobby I have ever had be subverted by these people. I will not allow libertarianism to be subverted by these people. I will promote secession and property rights. And I am not going anywhere. That's what you have to do. That's what we should do. It is time to stop every time this happens, ceding ground, saying, well, I don't want to call myself a libertarian, for example, anymore. Oh, I don't want to call myself a cosplayer. For example, I'm a cosplayer. I do costuming. Oh, I don't want to be associated with that because those people are cringy now and they're left wing. No. I'm done moving from thing to thing to thing every time something gets subverted. Stand your ground. Tell them to fuck off. That's my plan. It's not very eloquent. It's not very eloquently said. But that's my plan. And I am not going anywhere. I encourage you all to not go anywhere either. And that's my rant. Also, I will not live in a pod or eat bugs. Just so we're clear. Just so we're clear. Solo said, in other words, don't join a side because the ones you supported got bad. Join a side because you sincerely believe it. Yes, of course. Martin, have you heard of the possibility of using NFTs for property rights? Listen, Martin, the only thing I know about NFTs is that there's a lot of furry NFTs. So no, I haven't really looked into it. It creeps me out. I'm going to be honest with you. The only thing I've seen is a bunch of furry stuff. And you guys know I don't mess with that furry stuff. I don't want to be anywhere near it. Osmo said, instead of egalitarians subverting us, I've tried to subvert them with mixed results. Why? Why bother? Employ the Mises method. Mock and deride them. There's no reason to take these people seriously. You need to ally with people who actually agree with you. You are never going to convince everyone. That is a fool's errand. In fact, I think it's a psyop. When I first got involved in libertarianism, I had this grand idea. All we have to do is convert everyone. And there's this phrase that floats around all the time. Deep inside everyone is a libertarian. No, that's not true. Some people are never going to get it. Some left-wingers are never going to get it. And that's fine. Not everyone needs to get it. That's not the goal. Ally with people locally, build communities locally that actually agree with you, and when people try to subvert you, tell them to fuck off and stand your ground. That's it. Simple math. Now, Zoidberg in the chat said deploying psyops against the left might have some effect to actually turn the enemy's weapons against them. I mean, there's some argument for that. Yeah. Use Trotskyite tactics against the Trotskyites. I mean, listen, Saul Alinsky was very correct on a lot of things. If you haven't read them, you might want to start. It might be too late, but you might want to read them. Rules for Radicals, it's real. It's good to learn the tactics that people are using. And I think a big part of it is conservatives and a lot of libertarians are so ignorant historically of the tactics that these people have used again and again. And it just keeps happening and people just keep thinking, I don't understand why this is happening. I have the truth and ideas on my side. It's like, they don't care. Yes, I mean, Jack said, but maintain your own secure spaces is priority number one. Yeah, I can completely agree. Yeah. Yeah, so not to be all silence Trotskyite. Yeah. Yeah. Hobo Joe, leftist institutions have largely immunized themselves against those tactics. They know they work and have closed the doors behind them. Yeah, I mean, I largely agree with that. Zoidberg, fundamentally, the only way out of the civilizational collapse is through it. Only hope is some of us survive the elites to build something positive for the next civilization cycle. For Posterity said, I think people might not understand that despite someone being bad or evil, they might be right in some of the things they say are effective than tactics they use. Exactly. I do also think this is a blind spot. When I talk about not letting these people in, I am certainly not advocating for ignoring what they do. I think a huge blind spot, I just finished saying, in libertarian and conservative circles is they don't understand why what is happening to them, why the subversion that's happening is happening. It just keeps happening and you just keep thinking, well, I don't understand. And they get so frustrated. If you don't understand why things are happening and how they're doing it, you're also probably doomed to fail. Because even if you hold your ground, well, really you cannot hold your ground against these people unless you understand how they're doing what they're doing. So great point for Posterity. Pick up pants control. NFTs to me seems like trying to make money off of people using a pic, kind of like commercials. More exposure, more money. Seems like a pipe dream to me. Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to NFTs. I have not looked into them. And I am not above saying I don't know about something when I don't know about something. So, great stream, guys. I've been streaming for an hour. My next stream will be on Wednesday over on Twitch. Feel free to ask me questions and stuff over on Twitch. I'm not afraid to talk about any of this over on Twitch. I'll just be playing a video game while we do it. So I'll see you guys Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time on my Twitch channel. All of my social media is linked in the description of this video. Before you go, please be sure to give me a thumbs up on this video. It helps me a lot when it comes to the YouTube algorithm. And honestly, this was a really good stream and we had a really great discussion. So I would really like for people to see this. So please check out all my links in the description down below. Make sure you join my Telegram channel if you haven't. And if you just got here, the stream will be up for you to watch later. I know it's not quite the same as watching live, but everybody have a great night. Please have a great rest of your week. And hopefully I'll see some of you guys tomorrow night over on my Twitch channel at 7 p.m. Central Time. And great discussion, guys. Really great discussion. I'm proud of you all. Except the people saying Rey and Misato are best girl in Neon Genesis Evangelion. You guys can suck it. You thought I wouldn't see you before I got off the stream. All right. Thank you guys so much. Everybody have a great night. And as always, regardless of the craziness that is going on in the world, don't get upset. Don't get doom pilled. Don't take the doom pill and say